more, you know?
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So this is just great. So I have Amy Scruggs with me today, who is an amazing singer, songwriter, and so many other things that we'll dip in as we go, Amy, and welcome to podcasting your global career.
It's such an honor to be with you here today.
Thank you so much. I'm really, first of all, what if it all goes right? What do we do at the end of that?
Isn't it fantastic? The title alone snagged me the minute I saw it, and I hadn't even heard the melody or the chorus yet. So I knew that was the song.
Great song and great video. The melody has just got you by the throat the second you put it on, and really loved it and enjoyed it. I just listened to it again before we came on. And now, where did we record that? Was that in Nashville?
Nashville, Tennessee. Yes. Yes, it's Sound Emporium Studio. I was so honored. It was written by amazing writers in Nashville. I was pitched a lot of music when we went into the song searching project. 1,000 songs my A&R manager went through to bring down to a couple hundred that went to my producer and myself to weed through, pitch sessions virtually because it was during COVID. And that title stuck out. And I said, that's the one. I looked at the lyrics and then I listened to it and I said, I'm going to make that my own. And we did. I knew that was the theme song.
Yeah, you could tell by the video that you owned that from the first note, and you know, you could tell that it spoke to your heart. So congratulations on that. And another one that's beautiful, "Love Another Day," which I really got into that one too. Really awesome song.
I appreciate that. I'm really putting that one out there more now. It's still doing well on global radio, but I'm actually this year going to be doing another push for that song. I've partnered up with a nonprofit that I sit on the board of directors and I'm very dear with called Saddles and Service because they save lives of veterans and first responders every day. And that song just saying, I am here. I'm just so grateful to be here and love another day. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow, no guarantees, but today I can sit here and be thankful. So I'm going to partner up with them for the next music video on the ranch and promote that video alongside Saddles and Service to bring awareness.
Wow, great. So many areas I want to go in. I don't usually use notes or anything, so I just let the Holy Spirit drive the bus, you know. So I want to ask, are you still in San Dimas, California? Is that your
Oh,
home?
San Diego. I was born and raised in San Dimas, but San Diego's been home now for about 12 years.
Oh, okay. So you
It's
picked
beautiful.
the most boring place on earth, right? It's
It's
beautiful.
horrible.
Yeah. I was
I
there
don't
at Social Media Marketing World a couple years ago, and it was the first trip to San Diego. I've been to LA many times, but man, that gets into your blood. As soon as you get off the plane, it's like, I could dig this every day.
We definitely have a different flow. I born and raised up in the LA area. I know what you're talking about. We still are up there to visit all the time. Family all lives up in the LA area. And then we come back to San Diego and it's okay, I can breathe.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
pay to live here, but boy, I can breathe.
Yeah. It's worth every penny though, isn't it?
Yes.
It's really, I mean, the vibe, the restaurants, the people, you can just go on and on. It's really great. I want to talk about all the things that you do outside of your career as a music artist. You are serving so many lanes of traffic, and I was so impressed when I went on your website and saw
Thank
all the
you.
things you're doing. And coaching, that's a big part of my heart as well, that you're reaching out and you're helping people. So I want to know about, how did the trajectory for you organize itself in such a way that you were doing music first and then it occurred to you to serve in other capacities? How did this all come to fruition? You got a TV show. So where did it start?
I will do the Cliff Note version for the sake of time and keeping interest on this, but it really comes down to one strong word, and it's the power of shift. When we learn how to shift, when we see a shift taking place in our life, what do we do with that? And I started in wholesale mortgage in 2000 as a sales executive in Los Angeles County. So I was out in the industry in mortgage and real estate, hustling, highly competitive. And I learned very quickly that being authentic, using effective communication, being comfortable in front of others was going to allow me to succeed in that. And I did. It was a wonderful time that I had a great career that was allowing me to provide for my children, for the household. I was always singing, started singing at the age of 3, started playing piano at the age of 3. I was singing in cover bands. I grew up in the worship bands and the church choirs, school choirs, all of those things. So music was always the core root of my passion and my being. But as anything else, we have to provide, we have to make a living, we have to do it well. And sales and real estate and mortgage really did that for me. But in 2007, that disappeared. We had a collapse, the entire meltdown, a recession hit. And that career that was providing for me disappeared overnight. But I still had the passion. I still had the faith. I still had my love for performing and for music. And so I decided to put the business plan and the skills together with that. And I went out and asked for the business as a recording artist. And over the next years, I was able to open for some of the biggest names in country music. I was the spokesperson for the American veterans for the state of California because I love serving, wanted to teach my children that we always serve first. And that came about by being out there serving the USO, serving the veterans, and then they asked me to come on board. So it was really fun to see, again, shifting. Okay, we're going to shift into that. What do I represent? Who am I? In 2011, I had the opportunity to come back into business development, because we had some changes. My contract was over with AmVets, and I knew that I needed to provide. My youngest daughter needed to start grade school. I have 4 kids. So 3 are now older. My oldest son was my lead guitar player, touring all those years. So I had a lot of dynamics taking place that were always surviving but thriving, right?
Yeah.
Came back into the business world and business development. And I remember that being a time of uncertainty. That was a big shift. We had just lost our home. We went through some devastating things. Our bass player had just suddenly died. So it was, okay, what's going to take place next? And I knew if I put the same passion, the same skill set, the same business, the same everything into it, that I could still continue walking forward. And over the last 12 years, the doors that opened are incredible. I was invited to host television out of a studio here in San Diego because they were looking for someone who understood the veteran and military world, who was comfortable in front of the camera, spoke real estate and mortgage and entrepreneurship. And I fit all of that because of my background. That allowed me to start working with professionals in a really big way and seeing some of those common insecurities. And I take those moments of being on stage, those moments when I've had that big moment, stadium performing, and I'd sit with another professional who's nervous about sharing their message on camera. And I realized this is my moment for them to shine. It's my moment to bring my skill and pull it out of them. And then in 2020, we had another big shift happen, didn't we? The entire world was in lockdown, but we also all went on camera. And I realized this was going to be another incredible time for me to really empower professionals of all industries, because now it's not just about being on TV, but maybe podcasting like this, just thriving in their Zoom meetings to continue their job. There was really that touch point there that said, I can help you craft your message. And so still today, I am working with professionals of all industries in coaching and public speaking, being comfortable on camera, being confident in your message. And then I had the blessing of recording my dream project in the middle of that when I got a call from Nashville to come back. I had no idea that these worlds would continue to combine the way that they do. And this is where I sit here today.
So what I'm feeling right now is you had a lot of this.
Yes.
Because
Always.
isn't it funny how, like, when you're in one career and then it seems like you're pulled into another, and it can be, for people who don't have faith, like, so confusing, and so you
Yes.
get so lost, and it's like, well, what am I supposed to do here? I'm supposed to be this, and now I'm being called to do this here. And then
Yes.
all of a sudden you figure out, wait, I'm combining these skill sets that God gave me to do
Yes.
something much bigger than I could even imagine. If I put this on paper, I wouldn't have believed it 5 years.
Wouldn't have believed it. But I realize I'm being retooled every time.
Yeah.
Everything, every experience, every job, even waiting tables at 20. Do you know how much I use those skills in what I do today, and understanding how to not miss a detail, how to be really effective with my customer service, just paying attention? You have to do that. Being thick-skinned a little bit, all of the things that go along with that. My jobs in sales, communication, and performing, running a team, all of those things combined allow me to be more effective at what I do today. So when we get put into those times of shifts, or a moment that we think, this is awful, I'm going a different direction. No, I'm being pushed back into the right direction, and I needed to be retooled.
So how do you deal with not sleeping?
I sleep so great. I'm a student of my calendar, and sleep is a big part of rejuvenating and refreshing. So
Yeah.
I have my sleep habits, my sleep routine, how I decompress before sleep, how I wake up and have a nice quiet time in the morning, my time of prayer and meditation and reading, so that that all is a part of that sleep pattern that allows me to be as effective as I can during the day.
Wow, you seem like you have the same strategy methods that I have every day. It's like you have to have that regiment of something to get your day in order.
Yes.
Do you sleep 8 hours? I'm just curious.
Between 7.5 and 8, like clockwork.
Yeah, it's supposed to. We could go into a whole deep dive on that, but people that listening to this, get your 8 hours. It's
Your
really,
8 hours. If it's less than 7, then I'm not okay.
yeah. Yeah. So tell me about your schedule. How are you managing, like, fitting all this in? Like what strategies, what tools do you use to keep your life in order and keep, rolling the ball down the field to get to where you're going to be for your next marker?
I love that you asked this because I'm such a fan of all the wonderful technology we have today. So I have the right apps and my Google Calendar in order, and my computer is always set up just right. I make sure I've checked every box, and I create files with my Gmails and everything that I'm supposed to do. But I'm still a Gen Xer, and there are still 5 notebooks sitting next to me. I have my notes and my checkoff list every day, and there's those categories. But what I have at the very top is those top priorities of the week, whether it's those are the clients, the outreach that I'm doing, whatever that is, they're written at the top. So every time I glance at that notebook, they are top of mind. I can think about it, I can pray about it, I can make sure I'm not missing something. And then I can go, okay, I handled that. And it just gives me constant peace as I work in this flow, and also being very present in wherever I'm in. Being here with you right now, both of my phones are on silence. There's no emails pulled up here to my left on my other screen. I'm 100% with you. And when we're done with this, I'm going to be 100% in what I'm doing next. And every day, if I do this, that those appointments on the books, the activities I get paid for, the activities I don't get paid for, time to check in with my children, my parents, time with my husband, my refreshing time, it all has that category that somehow we have a lot of hours in the day. And I think as humans, sometimes we tend to waste those. And I really don't like to be wasteful with what the day presents in front of me.
Wow. So strategies for doing all this, certain tools that you use. You said you use Google and things like that.
Yes.
So now there's a better question. I wanted to ask you about with this coaching and the tools that you acquired, like where did you get that from? Was it like a one specific place? Was it a combination of things you learned throughout the years that took it so you laid all this great stuff out and said, all right, here's my tool belt now. I'm going to be using this, and this. So where did this all come from? Because what you brought up, your sense of awareness and present moment is something that a lot of people miss, and they don't understand that unless you're like totally in the moment, totally aware, you're missing. You're missing out on something that just went by you and you didn't capture it.
Yes.
So how
You
did
know,
you get there?
the fun thing about a toolbox is sometimes we don't know what's in there till we need it. So I picture if a pipe breaks in the house and you're like, wow, I have to fix this right now. And you go grab the toolbox. Do I have and you look in, well, that's what happened to me really when I sat in the hosting seat on television. I didn't realize because it just came naturally to me, being in front of an audience, carrying on these conversations, being direct with my questions, interviewing, all of the things really did come naturally to me from years of practice of being interviewed and performing. What happened was I started to identify those key components in others that weren't used to that. And I realized I had tools in there to bring them instant peace, to help them find their message in 2 minutes or less,
So you
to
started
help
coaching
listen.
without them
Yes.
knowing that you were coaching them.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
I
then
don't think
afterwards,
that's
they would ask some questions. And next thing you know, I was just coaching organically. And I went, wait a minute, I have a skill here. There's something that's resonating and working, and I'm getting the feedback from this. I think I need to expand on this greater. It really did reveal itself right before my eyes.
so were you surprised at how rewarding that felt?
Yes, very much so.
It was like an eye
There is
opener, right?
such joy.
Like, yeah, it's like, you get so lifted up when you see somebody like the lights go on and they like, wow, I never realized this.
I
And
get I get verklempt. I was with several of my clients this past year that I helped them really prepare their major public speaking presentation, knowing they had it booked. You build it, we will come booked, but we needed to really fine tune this. And I went. I was able to go to a few of them and to sit back and watch them shine and realize we did that together. We put this together. We worked it together. We made sure that it resonated, that those talking points were there, those audience engagement moments were there. And I just start crying because there's such a reward to helping someone get there and have that moment, because those are skills now they have the rest of their life. How
yeah,
awesome is that?
and it's almost it's sort of monumental the moment when you see them get it. You see the expression on their face.
Yes.
It just tells everything. They don't even have to speak a word. It's just like, I got it. I get this.
Yes.
So when you first got tipped off to this, like, was there somebody in particular that influenced you to say, I like the way this person coaches? Or was it a series of people? How did you get so drawn into it that you felt I just have to do this because of what experience?
It was definitely a series of the regular guests that were on the show I hosted, the American Dream TV. There was a handful of them that were calling my personal phone ongoing. Amy, can you help me with my next talking points? I'm on again next week. Can you help me craft this? And all of a sudden I realized they were reaching out and they were being an advocate. Like, I couldn't do this without Amy. What do I know? I have my dear friend Monica in Cincinnati, and she's from Slovakia. She's amazing. She goes, what do I know about being on TV? I sell real estate, but Amy taught me how to do this, and I didn't know what I was doing. So it was just really fun seeing them get those aha moments that I realized that I can really start crafting this together. And it was during COVID that I had the time, like everyone else did, but I used that time to really put a system in motion, wrote the book about media coaching, and just said, if I were to say I had a system, what is it? What does it look like? Before it was very organic and just on the fly a little bit, but to really say, I have a system now. And if we start together, we're going to go from here to here to here. What are your long-term goals? What are these short-term goals? And I have to assess, I have to, in the first meeting with a client, basically memorize them. I'm watching their body language, their facial expressions, listening to their inflections, their most common words, if they have filler words, how they represent themselves, everything, so that we can take that and remold it and bring it out new.
See, I'm getting a feeling that you are a veteran of mastermind experiences.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah. So, the first time I had like a really serious one, it was so eye-opening because all of the participants that came, and I think there was like 10 or 12 maybe, and I was just shocked at the cross culture of different businesses all collaborating in the same room. Yet nobody had like the same, or very few people had the same platform. Everybody was doing something different in business. Yet there was this synergy in the room that allowed everyone to come up with all these ideas and say, I got something for you. And it was coming out of left and right field. And it was just really amazing to see how, when you're with like-minded people like that, it really doesn't matter your business, your industry. You have something of value that you can contribute to the room.
Yes,
Yeah.
especially in those groups, you've got that connectivity and those common grounds that you stand on still, because you're all probably in the same growth phase for the most part. You have the similar goals. It might be different industries, but you're trying to come at it pretty much from that like-mindedness, or you wouldn't be in that same group. And that's what I love about that type of networking. And I have really key people in my database that I can call at any time and say, hey, can you look at this? I need a second set of eyes on this. Hey, I heard you were using a new technology on A, B, or C. Can you tell me how that works? Do you think that's a fit for my business? And realizing that there are all those key people of all industries that can really help and level us up in growth.
Yeah, and speaking as somebody who worked in a silo for way too long, once I finally, climbed out of the sandbox and said, I'm gonna open myself up to people, it was just like you said, it was such a joy because you would just cut like not only hours, but weeks of struggling by
Oh,
yourself,
completely.
and, going through all the tutorials and no, I'm in the wrong space again. And you pick up, hey Fred or Delilah, what do you got? Oh, that's 3 minutes.
Yes.
Here, I'll show you this on Zoom. Let's jump on. I'll show you how to do it.
Saves
And
hours and months off of our business of cutting our teeth in something, because I may have been vetting something for a long time that's a perfect fit for you. Now I can say, listen, this is trustworthy, vetted, I've used it. Here it is. Create your login. These are the simple tips for it. And you are going to have vetted something that is useful for me that you put in the long hours. And when we swap that information, we are so much better when we come together.
yeah,
So much better. There's enough for
absolutely.
everyone.
Tell me about what is your favorite thing when you're not in business? Besides your children and your
Yeah.
husband, what do you like to do for you when you need to just chill and just get away and just recharge the batteries?
I need to go down to my baby grand piano. I need no one to be home. And I want to sit and play,
Nice.
because I don't want, as a performer, I feel like I'm always performing, even because I'm always either podcasting, performing, coaching, speaking, singing. Everything I do is on. And I
Right.
love the opportunities when I can sit and do music or sing or just play or a combination of both without it being a performance. But going back to that 3-year-old that sat at the piano and started playing by ear, going back to that song in my heart since I was that same age, knowing that that's what I wanted to do. And unless I can be in an isolated place and space, but when I do, boy, does it recharge me. It's like 25 trips to the gym. It's like a day spa and a retreat meditation camp all in one if I can get 30 minutes to an hour at the piano alone.
Yeah, it's hard to describe that to somebody who doesn't do music, but completing a new piece of music is just how you described it. And I like the alone thing too, because you get a little bit nutty when there's nobody around. It's good to be a little insane and almost like
Yes.
a jazz singer and just come up with whatever and just
Yes.
riffing or whatever, because you don't know where it's going to come from. You just know it's coming. And it could be in the lyric, could be in the riff, it could be in
Right.
whatever the power chord. It's like
And I can't do that if anybody's listening. I just
I'm
can't.
the same way. I
I don't
don't
care
want
who it is.
anybody around, because
I don't
then
even want the cat. Yeah, just get out.
you said it turns into performance. And I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm not ready to perform right now. I'm trying to write, so it's a whole different thing.
Yes. Yes. And it is hard to find that time. And I
Yeah,
do desperately need that time. And
yeah.
other than that, I read. I'm an avid reader. So getting that time to read is really important to me. I read everything from biographies, self-help books, business books, inspirational stories, things like that. Anything that I can pull from and add to my library. But I'm trying to finish at least 2 books a month.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, I'm the same way. I stack up like 3 or 4 of them, and then I'm like, I got to be disciplined and get through like one, and then so I can go on and finish. Um, as we're winding down here, I want to just ask you, what is the best place for people to connect to you? Where would you prefer everybody to go to connect with Amy?
You know what's so fun is that I don't have a common name. So if you Google Amy Scruggs, you are going to find me. So
Yeah.
if you go to any of those social platforms, definitely Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, you can find my website. But if you just Google Amy Scruggs, you're going to find me. And if you found me, then you know I'm going to respond to you there. So just Google Amy Scruggs. You can find me in all of the, wherever you stream music, you're going to find the EP that we released. But definitely I'm very active on Instagram, on my Facebook. I'm responsive. I reply to all my comments. I'm engaged. I would rather have less followers and more engagement and more real connections than worrying about needing to have 1 million followers. I don't care. I'm thankful for the ones that we have, that there's a real organic relationship in there, that I have genuine care for those that are engaged with me on social media.
Wow. Amy Scruggs, it was an honor, pleasure to have you on podcasting your global career. And I just want to wish all of God's blessings on you, your family, and your career moving forward.
Thank you so much. What a blessing to be with you.
Cut. I think we did it.
Thank you.
I thought it
It's
went
fun.
pretty well. How did you think? Would you think it
Oh,
went well?
excellent. Yes,
Yeah.
there's no bad interview. And I just love it because we're going to have our own connection. I love your questions. It's going to come to life in its own element there. So it was beautiful. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Awesome. Thank you. So let me ask you, best customer for you or best client, who should I keep my eyes and ears open for, that you're looking for right now in all of your endeavors? Like, what are you really after right now? How can I serve you?
My favorite, I work with mostly women because that's the ones that tend to gravitate towards me. I do have a handful of male clients here and there, but for
Right.
some reason, the women really, we can build that rapport, and because they have those insecurities that they need to drop down and they need to trust with me, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that is definitely it. But I love working with even young recording artists. I'm working with a 17-year-old recording artist right now in her artist development. The do's and don'ts, how to protect herself, how to run it as a business, how to really look at everything and build it from the ground up for the long haul, not just instant. You're not just trying to get out there today. It took me 18 years to get back to Nashville. I was almost 50 before I finally got my first radio hit. We're
Yeah.
in this for the long haul, right? How to build a career out of it and weave it into everything else. Working with young artists is really, really important because I wish I had had that at their age. So
Right.
definitely young artists and entrepreneurs, newer entrepreneurs and nonprofits that are trying to still craft their message, unsure of how to really introduce themselves, their business, what they're doing, to help them with that initial branding out the gate and get them set up for success ongoing.
Do you work with any of the branding agencies in Nashville
I
at
do
all?
not.
Oh, okay. So you because you kind of do it in house, right? You don't need to
Yes.
thing. Yeah.
Yes, I would love to. I would love to collaborate if there was a branding company that then, because they're getting them branded and they get it fixed, but I'm the one that helps them how to deliver it. It's one thing to say, here's all your branding, here's your message, and you don't know how to present it. If you don't know how to handle your body language and your inflections and answer questions and give a polished interview, then I mean, how many interviews have you done where everybody has filler words in between every sentence?
Yeah.
Every yeah, so that has to go.
Right.
Has to
Right.
go. So a lot of times a branding company still does a great job and PR and everything that goes with that, but we still have to be able to represent ourselves. So that's where I can fit in that gap, really on that personal development side.
So perhaps I could make a couple introductions. I have a few people that I've worked with in Nashville. One is Jill Pavel, and one is Dead Horse Branding. They're pretty big outfit now. They're both
Nice.
in Australia and in Nashville, and they have a ton of artists. They have Tony Brown, and they have a lot of people. But I'm
Excellent.
thinking like they could probably use you as a almost like a strategic alliance that you could get them first and send them over there, or vice versa. They need somebody who's too green or whatever that they can't do anything.
Yes. Artist development. I
Yeah.
worked with Gary Nichols. He's a Grammy Award winning artist because I was the coach for 6 straight months for RBR Entertainment. It's a bluegrass boutique record label. So I did their coaching for all their artists for about 6 months. We did a contract and it was excellent. And I have a full page ad in Music Row magazine in the In Charge edition. So anybody you're referring, they can verify I've been running a full page ad for the last 2 years in Music Row magazine.
Wow. That's awesome.
And I'm the front and center on Airplay Direct, global radio platform. My coaching ads are on all of those pages as well. So they pretty easy to find.
Great. Great. Yeah, I'm gonna think of more people, but those are two just at the
I
top of mind
appreciate that.
that I have. And
Thank you. I did a workshop for all songwriters who are they're trying to pitch their music to publishers, and they're like, here's what I wrote, and atrocious on Zoom. So I actually do workshops so we can bundle together. That made it more affordable for them. They all came together. I had 20 writers and said, here's how you're going to perfect your pitch. Here's how you
right.
should be presenting yourself to these publishing companies and to these artists. So things like that we can definitely do.
Great. Great. Yeah, I'll have I have like now I have three that I can introduce you to right out of the gate. And as I go through it, I'll probably come up with more. What do you use as far as do you use a CRM? Like what do you I use Go High Level. Um
I have to tell you, no, I've put them in Google Sheets. That is something that I need to get a VA to start handling my CRM because
yeah,
I don't. I'm all referral. Everything that comes in, I either speak and I meet somebody, I'm all referral. The only ad I really have out there is in Music Row magazine,
right.
but I'm very much referral. So I feel like it's all my children right here. And I have not been the greatest about CRM. All my other technology, my digital ads, everything great. But
Oh, you're
CRM, I have
so
not done such a
organized.
good job.
I'm surprised that because I'm like wherever you are, I'm diametrically opposite as far as what we just discussed there. I have gotten much better at organizing my contact lists and my networking, and I was introduced through it through Pantheon.fm, which I'm a member of with
Yes, yes,
Josh Tapp and Kyle, and
yes,
I think I got you from Kyle. I think
you
he
did.
yeah, great guy. So anyway, they introduced me to that CRM, and it's really amazing. It all works with cards, and as you keep referring, you keep moving the cards, and then all your notes are on each card
Oh,
of
that's nice.
date and who you referred who to, and it's really it's helped me immensely. Just like look at it and go, it's like playing chess. It's like, oh yeah,
That's
I
right.
did this in the middle of the night last
I
night.
know. I run a Google spreadsheet. I go right into the sheet and then I add it, when the Met Connect, all that. I keep a Google spreadsheet,
Yeah,
but I should have a system much, much more integrated than that,
yeah,
that you
yeah.
described. And
I
I
think
know that's what's been missing for me, and I
yeah.
need a
See that I coached the coach a little bit here today.
Yes, no, you did for sure. Because I sit on the board of 4 nonprofits. I run my nonprofit. I sit on the board of 4. I'm a Rotarian, so I do a lot of keynote speaking for Rotary International leadership clubs and really bring this message to Rotary on how to get their message out to the world. So I'm got so much of my database just with what I do with Rotary that is, it's a
Yeah.
lot.
It is. I mean, you got
That's
some life,
a
girl.
lot.
That's crazy. Like, I'm getting
Got
tired just
3
talking.
podcasts today. I have 2 clients and 3 podcasts today. And
Oh,
I looked at
really?
it, I'm like, "Oh, this is an easy day. Oh, piece of cake. Shoot, I got 15 minutes in between each one of them. Oh my gosh, I'm great. I'll be hydrated."
You're awesome.
What can I do to support you?
Well, I'm also a coach, and I started in the coaching space only about 8 months or so ago, and
Great.
I'm still finding my niche, like, who is it that I wanna coach? And, I'm getting there. I'm working with Chris Williams now, and so I immerse myself in
Good.
all these
Good,
programs.
good, good.
And so anyway, that's coming along really well. But one of the other things I do is I write branded songs for authors, speakers, and thought leaders, and I record these on Music Row. So
Brilliant.
yeah, so I actually built this, Amy, in 2017, but I'm building all these things, and then I move on to the next one. Then it occurred to me one day, well, you're gonna have to stop and start making money at one of these things. You just can't keep building things. And
No, it's a horrible balance. The building, then you gotta
yeah,
go in and build, and you're not making money. So you have to I constantly have to go out, back in, out, back in.
yeah, yeah, and so I had to set some things aside, and one of them was that, and when I explained to the guys at Pantheon at one of our, mastermind meetings out in Salt Lake City, they flipped out and said, "This is amazing what you came up with here." So I did the first 3 for free, and then I finally got a paid client, and then I never really, took the time and money to build it until now I'm going back in because I've proved the concept. I have the relationships with all these great players on Music Row. I did all the legal stuff and got it all set up, and, what I do is I share in the royalty stream with the person who has the brand. So what I do is, let's
Yes.
say if I have a co-writer, I'll say
Mhm.
to the co-writer, okay, you and I'll take 33% each, and the author gets the 34%, so that even though they're financing the project, there's something on the back end for them, because I felt like,
Right.
well, if I was doing this, I'd want to be, compensated
Right. You
fairly.
want a part of that publishing.
It's my dream, it's like I feel like it's fair all the way around. And the joy of that for me is that, it's somebody I'll probably want to work with. I can't just do this for everybody. It's somebody I have to feel like they have something really solid to write about that is worthy of, their efforts and their song.
Okay.
So I'm going to put everything I have into this to make it like the best song that I can.
Yes.
And then and so as the future goes on, if they want something with my agency, the James O'Connor Agency, publishing, running a campaign, they're going to come to me because we're kind of joined as partners now in the publishing. So, the natural choice would be to come back home and say, hey, let's do something further with this song. Let's do
Yes.
something.
Yes.
So
I'm
that's
putting a resource in the chat for you here, and you may not need this. You may be well beyond this, but Nancy, the founder of this organization, she's in Nashville, just a sweetheart, good friend of mine. I sponsor this organization because I believe so much, and it's called Discover Sooner. And it really is that platform matching those writers and publishers, collaborative writing, individual writing, pitch sessions, just those resource for writers. It's literally a community for writers. Then she's
wow.
been a writer, hit writer for years and years and years. Amazing woman. Discover Sooner. If you
Yeah,
are
have it up
interested or
now.
you want to know more, I just
Yeah.
put it in the chat so you can pull that up. And
Yeah.
then reach out. Nancy Decken is the founder. Just tell her I sent you. Say Amy Scruggs sent me. Like, that's all you have to say.
Awesome. Nancy Decken.
Yes, Nancy Decken. I can email you her contact info as well, or I'll just put it here in the chat. Like, I could give you her email and cell. Let me pull her up. It might be something that has a value for you or those that you're working with as well.
That'd be
Um,
great. Thank you.
incredible program. I met her in Nashville on this last recording. She was recommended by my A&R because they were pitching me some music,
Right.
and she came to the studio to meet me while I was recording and everything. She was just a doll, and we've stayed in touch. I've actually done some coaching with her, rewrote her bios and everything else, sponsored Discover Sooner because of what she's doing for writers. She's really bringing up and leveling up the game from such a incredible heart. Okay. Her cell is 615-618-6600.
Got it.
You could just text her and say, Amy Scruggs sent me, and just get information. Ask her what programs they have right now. You can go through the site.
How do you spell her last name? DEC?
Decant. Nancy Decken.
Oh, got it. Okay, cool. Thank you. That's
And
awesome.
she's again right there in Nashville. Amazing human.
Great. I
Amazing human.
I like the fact that more and more, I feel, good people are coming into the space. I mean, certainly the music business has been through some volatile times over the last
Yes.
25 years, and I think there's something coming back. I mean, I listen to some of these younger artists and bands that are coming out, and I get excited. I don't live in the past. I'm always like want to be in the present and writing things that matter that and or organically can be around like 50 years from now. And you put it on and go, that's just a great song. I don't care. It's a great song.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
That's how
Anybody
I
who
felt about What If It All Goes Right, hands down. That
Yeah,
was
it's that kind of song, and those are the best. I mean, the Paul Simons, the Van Morrisons, or whoever. It's just when you write a good song, it's like you don't have to be the greatest singer. You don't have to be. This song just knows everything. That's the way I feel.
and my producer, oh, he was just such a ball. Fred Mullen, he's produced some of the biggest names in music. I mean, Mac Davis, Billy Joel. He was the head of all Disney music for like 5 years. So a lot of the soundtracks for Cars, all that stuff was his work. He was huge TV writer for a lot of the big hit shows and things like that as far as his talent. So you get that TV and movie influence in how he produces, right?
Wow.
And he's right there in Nashville. And he even said, he goes, I need to make this cinematic. And he
Yeah.
did. From what the demo was to what we did and how he put that together, you can hear that it's got that Disney sound to it, like it could plug right into a movie. And
Yeah.
I was so grateful. He did that with each one of the songs. He said, and we're going to take it, we're going to bring it up to here, and it's going to be cinematic. And I was so
Wow.
grateful. And what a blessing. He said yes to producing me because it was the middle of the pandemic and everybody was available.
Wow. That's so great.
We
Uh,
waited till we had our vaccinations and we flew out and everybody was careful. But I had some of the best. I had uh, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just forgot his name. And he was the head of all music for Grand Ole Opry. And I had Tommy Harden, the lead drummer for Alabama all these years. And
wow.
I had Carrie Marks and his wife Kat. I mean, just a first class band that is with the bigs of the bigs because they were available. It was
Yeah.
like God's perfect timing for me. I wanted it 15 years ago, but it
Right.
wasn't my time.
Isn't that something? Yeah, I was the pleasure of Sean Fitchter playing on a bunch of my tracks. He plays for Tim McGraw. He's been his drummer for
Yes.
10 years or something.
Yes.
Such an artist. Like even though he's playing country, you should see what he does on his own. It's like
Oh, I bet.
it's scary stuff. I have one little thing I would like to ask you is
Yes.
would you consider like just listening to I'm writing my new album, which the title right now is God, Guns, and Freedom.
Okay.
And I wanted to know if you would listen to a song or two as a demo, just to say, if I had a producer in mind, because I get this vibe that you and I have like this similarity of tastes
Mhm.
and musicality, I think, that you might be able to say, hey, I hear this producer. Because the person who produced my first three records, Kim Copeland, retired. Like her partner got very, very ill, and
Mm,
she had to stop and take care of her. And then she sold right before the pandemic, sold her house and moved back to Texas to take care of her partner who passed away tragically. But I haven't had anybody that I've worked with or trusted, and I don't want to go back to self-producing. Even though
yes,
I'm
yes.
capable of a lot of things, that's like kiss of death. You don't do that if you've come
Right.
this far.
I don't want to do my own
Well,
hair. Can I? But no, I
I,
shouldn't,
I
right?
know. You're right. It's like, wait a minute. There's so many good people. Like I'm a pretty accomplished guitar player, but 90% of the time when I go in, I'm wearing the executive producer hat, the songwriter
Yes.
hat, and the vocalist. I don't even bring a guitar except to just
Right.
show them something like, here's the chord we're looking for. But I don't
Yes.
I don't play. I
I
don't
would
play.
never touch the keys on my own project.
Yeah, I go back to my
Never.
own studio with all the tracks and I'll say, what does it need, if anything, and maybe do a solo or say, step back. And I don't even
Yes.
get involved in the mixing. I get last listen and I'll make notes and send them and say, this is what I want. And then I'll listen to the last one. And usually it's 95% there anyway, because you got good people around you.
Right.
It's like,
When
why?
you were
No.
w- when you were in Nashville, do you remember TV show The Producer's Chair?
Yes, yes.
So the big giant chair. The
Right.
host, James Ray, he is my dearest friend. And he is my A&R. He's the one that found all my songs for me. He discovered me in 2004, my first trip there. He is literally family to me. Like if he's family to me. James was the host and producer and creator of the producer's chair, and it is coming back. But if you talk about somebody who sat and interviewed every major producer in Nashville, it's James. He's the one that found Fred for me because he called and he goes, Amy, I have your producer. James and I are very, very close. So yes, I would love to hear your demos. I have James in my back pocket. And
Wow,
he's
that's
connected to every producer in Nashville because of this show. This show is now in the back end process of being relaunched. When COVID had to shut it down, they have new owners in it, new partners have come alongside him. And this is actually going to be going to one of the networks again here in the very near future.
that's
So it's, but I've been intricately involved with that because of my relationship with James. But he's the one that taught me what I needed to know in Nashville. He's the one that took me under my wing, his wing, all those years ago. And it was interesting. The best advice he ever gave me was, he said, Amy, the artists that run it as a business have the highest chance of success.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. You're doing such a service to so many people. So I really commend you for that. And I want to thank you for your generosity with this. This was not, I had no idea I was going to ask this question, but I just feel like it was, you know, this was the time to ask it, and finally the right person to ask.
Yes. I
So
would be honored to listen, and I'd be happy to introduce you to James as well, as he has all those connections. He did it for me, and
that's
and uh,
fabulous.
we take care of each other. So
Amy,
he
this
was
was
right there
great.
on Music Row.
I feel like a real wonderful friendship was established here today.
Definitely.
I'm so overjoyed about everything you're doing and
Thank
the
you.
difference you're going to make in so many lives and have made. So
Thank you.
God bless you for that. So
Thank you. I am so, so privileged to be connected with you now. You have full Redline access to me. You've got my email address. You've got, you can reach me anytime you need to. Just, Amy, take a look at this. What do you think about that? Let's stay close connected and see how we can continue to support each other.
that's fabulous. Thanks, Amy. Be
What a
blessed.
pleasure today. Thank you. What a great day, right?
Yeah, it was awesome. So we'll talk soon. Bye.
We'll talk soon. Take care. Bye.